The time is now to rewire your brain for optimal success. None of us are given another moment or another day. So quite literally, the only time is right now. And I received an amazing and very important comment about PTSD and having horrible memories resurfacing. And I had made a video and just uploaded it. It was the last upload if you want to look at it, and I'll link it below as well, about living your life purpose and having a mission statement for yourself and an incantation to have that with feelings so that it goes deeper than an affirmation. You're declaring this to be your life mission so that when challenges come up, you can handle them. Doesn't mean that they're not hard, doesn't mean that you're not gonna feel a lot of stuff, but you can handle it. So the comment was, well, what happens when you have so much PTSD from horrifying memories and you can't get that image, that memory out of your mind? And this is so important because it's hard, right? Like, you're never going to forget these horrific things. And I have heard some stories that are just horrifying. Absolutely things that nightmares are made of. Survivors and fighters and thrivers and protectors serving in war or having been a battered wife or husband. Numerous situations that are just absolutely so sad and absolutely horrifying. How do we get that image out of our head? It's like it's not happening right now, and yet you're revisiting it over and over. So you're reliving the trauma, and your body and your psyche doesn't know the difference. This can be absolutely debilitating. So if you're going through that, absolutely seek therapy if you're not, because I think it's so important to have somebody holding the space specifically for you and helping you through that. And then there are other ways also to have self-care through a creative endeavor. I've helped a lot of people in acting classes who've had PTSD from serving in Afghanistan, to being surgeons, to being battered, because through the arts you can heal. And I believe in curating a team around you. And this is for anybody, even if you're never experiencing PTSD and you've had no history of anything emotional and you're just skating along in life. I still think it's great to have a whole team that's there supporting you. But that doesn't solve this issue right this second of this question, right? How do I get these ruminating thoughts of horrific things out of my head? So Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about, if you have a reaction to an event and it lives in your body for more than an hour or two, it becomes a mood, right? If you have a reaction to an event and it lives in your body for weeks on ends, it can become a depression, right? The mood sinks into a personality, maybe a personality disorder or a mental illness if you allow that mood to sink in for years. For years or decades, it's a personality trait, right? So how do we change something that's now become a part of us, even though it's this horrible thing that you don't want to be a part of you? It's a lot. There are, like I said, a lot of different ways that you can be supported, and I encourage you to have a lot of those working on your behalf, not just one, because each modality is going to help you in a different way. Write down a list of things that make you feel good, of moments that make you feel like you're in the moment and not thinking of this horrible past trauma and reliving it in your body. There are fleeting moments maybe of this, but when are those moments? Sometimes for people acting on stage, connecting with somebody, being in the moment in that way, snowboarding, skiing, practicing yoga, meditation, fishing. Write down, even if you've gotten so disconnected from these things, write down, what are they? Sometimes we think we know ourselves so well, oh, I enjoy this and that, but write it down and notice how often are you doing that? Because if you're not doing it a lot, often, and then some, but you are revisiting the past trauma a lot, then it's very imbalanced, right? So of course you're going to be reliving this in your body. So it seems very simple, and of course there's a lot to it in the fact that you deserve the support and acknowledgement if you've gone through something horrific, not just to brush it off and be like, oh, that's nothing, get over it. But it can be simple in the fact of filling your time and schedule and energy with things that you know do support you. And sometimes we can dismiss this, right? Like, I know for me, yoga has been a huge part of my life, and that's why I ended up becoming a yoga teacher, and I've been teaching for 11 years now, along with the other things that I offer, because I went deeper into yoga through my healing, through cancer and coming out of narcissistic abuse from a long time of narcissistic abuse. And then I've still revisited some of that stuff, right? And in healing, every time, whether it's cancer, narcissistic abuse, and they all go hand in hand, because if you're being abused in one way or having stress in another way, it can manifest in the body. So I know that yoga helps, and I've been teaching for 11 years, and yet there are times where my egoic mind says, I don't have time for that. So just recently I had to write down again and revisit my mission statement and my business plan and go, Leah, this is imperative, because my analytical mind sometimes will say, you don't have time for that. You got to get to the email. You don't have time for that. You were just hacked. You got to figure out all this other stuff. And then I have to reprioritize and say, no, my health is the most important thing. I must do things that fill me up in that way in order to give in these other ways. Something else that I would like to offer you is to have empathy for yourself, a ton of empathy for yourself. And when these feelings do come up, it is so important to pause and allow yourself to be. So instead of trying to push it down or shame yourself that it's come up again, to say, it's okay that you're scared. It's okay that you're angry. It's okay that I'm feeling these things in my body. It is okay to feel these things. But it is not happening right now. It is not happening right now. And to remind yourself this simple exercise of checking in with what is happening. Right now, I'm sitting in a chair. Right now, I notice the clothes on my body. Right now, notice how the clothing feels on your body. The textures, how it might be tight in one area or loose in another area. Take a deep breath in and out and begin to be the parent to that inner child that is traumatized and scared. To be the parent to yourself, to be the companion, to be the best friend, to be the spouse, to be everything that you need, that you're looking for outside of you to fix it. And be that for yourself and feel into the nurturing part of yourself that can comfort and soothe. Remember to have so much grace for yourself in healing. I could tell you countless stories of people who have experienced, endured, and witnessed some of the saddest things that you could ever imagine. Horrifying, scary, sad. And there is hope. There is hope. If there's hope for them, there's hope for you. Think of Anna Frank. As most people know, The Diary of Anne Frank. We did that play when I was in college a million years ago, and it's very powerful. It's very powerful to remember what some people have gone through and still connected to the light and the goodness of people. I believe art can heal because we connect into our humanity when we experience it through ourselves and each other, and it can be very healing. So connect in with songs that make you feel that inner space that is calm. Watch movies that inspire you, read books, and don't discount your own healing. Don't discount that going and having fun is important, because when you're in trauma, sometimes we will convince ourselves that we don't want to go do that thing, even though it's something really healthy for us. The other night, I got home at like 3 a.m. from traveling, and our flight was delayed, and so when we finally got home, it was very late, and I was very tired and a little jet lagged and all of that. And I heard something that was very alarming with one of my neighbors, and so I called the police. And a part of me got very in my fear body because of the possibilities. You know, we all live in a world where we know that there are some people who are very unhealthy, who can do very dangerous and harmful things. We know that's a reality in the world. And so a part of my mind started going there and playing tricks on myself and visiting trauma of other events, world events and things, and seeing that in my mind's eye, and my heart started beating fast, and I started feeling really scared and very in pain and feeling the suffering of the world, that this exists on this planet. And I had to go into that sovereign place where I can make a choice, because even if that was the worst case scenario and that was about to happen, I can be with me. I can take care of me to the best that I can and be as loving as I can to myself. So I had to talk myself down and find peace, knowing that every moment that a catastrophe isn't happening is a blessing. And to connect in with, yes, horrible things unfortunately do happen. And that's why every single moment that we're just sitting on the chair is a gift. It's a huge blessing. So right here and now, just check in with wherever you are and all of the blessings that are happening, because miracles are happening right now. Many, 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 many miracles are happening right now. Breathing is a miracle. Your organs working on your behalf is a miracle. You are a miracle. So many things are working on your behalf right now, even if things seem like they're falling apart. And if you're ever in danger, please do seek help. And also have a support team around you at all times. And don't let your analytical mind convince you otherwise, so that you can keep going into these good feelings, not out of a fake toxic positivity, but because you're brave enough to feel everything, even the places that feel broken and scared. It's because of that we choose in our sovereignty to go into the light, into the feelings of peace and goodness. Every day we know something horrible could happen, but how many things are always happening that are really great? I've often thought, what a wonderful thing if we just had the news streaming all day of positive things. Another kind act just happened. Somebody else was wonderful today. People of differing opinions were kind to one another today. Forgiveness happened today. Love happened today. Empathy happened today. Organs are working today. Health and wholeness is being rejuvenated today. And remember to connect into nature. As you watch the seasons change, if you're in a place with seasons, it can be such a beautiful example that there will be spring again. But even if you're not in a place with seasons, the sun comes up again. The moon is there at night. You may not always see it, but we know it's there. And some people go, well, it's a simulation, and that's not even real. Again, ask yourself, how does that feel in your body? Does that give you peace thinking that? If it does, great. Then do that. If it doesn't, then that's not filling you up with more things that make you feel good. It can be that simple. And then coupled with what your purpose is, what your life mission is on this planet, is it to be scared? Is that why you're here? Is it to be in trauma? Or is it to really love yourself even with the trauma, even with the fear? Not because you're denying it, but because you acknowledge it. I send you so much light and love. I do believe there are gifts inside of you, and maybe you've been sharing them, and for that I thank you and I commend you, because we're all connected. The very phone that I'm shooting this on right now was somebody's idea. We're all connected. Your great idea helps somebody else. Everything is connected. We're in this together. So as much of the drama and trauma that is in the world, there is also goodness. And that's you. I see you and I appreciate you and I thank God for you. I really do. Thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for energetically pushing this kind of content out, because the more voices talking about healing from challenging situations and not just staying in victim consciousness, but using your genius and your creative gifts and talents to uplift and energetically have this paradigm shift on the planet, that is exciting. So I bow to you for being a part of this movement. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.